Brain Donors is one of the greatest comedies you've never seen.
How many of you saw this man carelessly and without regard for life and property careen into my clients at almost 85 miles per hour? And who of you will tell their story to my young 24-year-old Miss International wet t-shirt champion nymphomaniac secretary?
Brain Donors was directed by Dennis Dugan, who directed 90s classics like Beverly Hills Ninja, Big Daddy, and Happy Gilmore. It was written by Pat Proft, who's written comedy classics like Police Academy, Real Genius, and Bachelor Party, while teaming with David and Jerry Zucker on the Naked Gun films. David and Jerry Zucker produced Brain Donors, themselves having worked on some of the best and all-time classics like Top Secret, Kentucky Fried Movie, and Airplane.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Brain Donors is based on the Marx Brothers' Night at the Opera. Chico, Harpo, and Groucho Marx were a threesome that would move from vaudeville to the early big screen. Each played the same part in every film. Groucho was a fast-talking shyster who would throw out a jab a minute.
What do we got for dinner?
Anything you like, sir. You might have some tomato juice, orange juice, grape juice, pineapple juice.
Hey, turn off the juice before I get electrocuted.
Chico, a dim-witted but lovable Italian con artist.
But you wouldn't make any money at it.
All right, I break even, just as long as I'm not losing nothing.
And Harpo, an amazing silent actor who would pull many props out of his trench coat.
Why, you...
Brother Zeppo had played the straight man in previous films, but had left the group before Night at the Opera. The foursome, now a threesome, was sometimes joined by Margaret Dumont, who was usually cast as the rich upper-class, snooty straight woman who Groucho was always trying to finagle out of her money.
That's why I'm sitting here with you, because you remind me of you. Your eyes, your throat, your lips. Everything about you reminds me of you, except you.
I'm not going to go over the plot of Night at the Opera, as Brain Donors' plot adheres closely to it. I will say that most Marx Brothers movies adhere to the very same formula. Quick setup.
Now, I have arranged for you to invest $200,000 in the New York Opera Company.
I don't understand.
Don't you see you'll be a patron of the opera? You'll get into society. Then you can marry me and they'll kick you out of society.
Plus, characters meet each other.
I know. The greatest tenor in the world. That's what I'm after.
Why, I'm his manager.
Who's manager?
The greatest tenor in the world.
The fellow that sings
Equals chaos and anarchy.
Arrest those men, and this man too.
Well, it's about time.
I don't know.
It's all right. That's in every contract. That's what they call a sanity clause.
You can't fool me. There ain't no sanity clause.
Just the woman I'm looking for. Come right ahead. You'll have to start on the ceiling. It's the only place that isn't being occupied.
The same goes for the comedy masterpiece, Brain Donors. The quick setup of Brain Donors is that wealthy widow Lillian Oglethorpe has recently lost her husband. His will is about to be read when Lillian stops everything, saying that she needs her personal solicitor.
But we really must wait for my personal solicitor, Roland T. Flackpfizer.
She sends her personal manservant man-child Jacques to find this solicitor, a literal ambulance chaser named Roland T. Flackpfizer.
Sir, you have caused grievous harm to my clients and their vehicle. And through your negligence, this child has suffered severe neck injuries.
I can sue my parents?
I sued mine.
Ow, my neck!
Corruptible youth. God bless them.
Obviously, Flackpfizer is a lawyer of dubious intent, and as the definition of shyster boils down to a person who is unscrupulous, fraudulent, or deceptive in their business, we pretty much know who is going to be in the Groucho role.
Flackpfizer's at it again, I see.
Check for outstanding.
Roland T. Flackpfizer? That's him.
Hold that thought. I swear I never touched your daughter. Taxi!
With Flackpfizer in hand, Jacques hails a taxi, driven by Rocco.
Any place with no extradition laws, and step on it. Lillian Oglethorpe wants to see you. The Lillian Oglethorpe in our mid-50s?
They head back to meet with Lillian until Rocco happens to recognize our fast-talking lawyer. Turns out Flackpfizer represented Rocco in his divorce case until he started dating his wife.
And you got the court to double the alimony request she originally made.
Well, you didn't want her to keep seeing me in cheap motels, did you? For God's sake, man, she was your wife. All right.
So after the taxi comes to a screeching halt, our three characters take the moment to meet each other.
I thought I recognized you. I've been looking for you for the past 3 years.
You're lying.
Of course I am, but hear me out. I could use a man like you in my organization.
And thus we have our three characters: Flackpfizer the shyster, Rocco the con artist, and Jacques, the lovable guy with tons of stuff in his trench coat.
Lillian, we really can't wait any longer.
I suppose.
The guy in the suit is Laszlo, the Oglethorpe family lawyer. He's our antagonist, an all-around douche nozzle.
Roland!
Please, call me what everyone else calls me, your royal sex.
Finally, everyone's arrived. And just like every other time a rich guy dies, everyone is dying to hear what is in the will and who gets what. This is where we get down to the meat and potatoes of the plot.
The man is obviously no condition to carry on. Rocco, if you would continue.
La, 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 to my gay lover I leave.
Oh!
All my worldly goods to be transferred into the care of my wife, Lillian.
Darling.
And because of my love for the arts, I request that half my fortune be used to establish a ballet company.
Lillian announces that she has no clue how to run a ballet company. Now Laszlo, being another skeevy lawyer, volunteers to run the company. And Flackpfizer, he doesn't understand the big deal until he hears this.
And the director of the company shall receive $500,000 a year salary.
I'll take the job. Lillian, I have a dream. We'll bring it on.
Now seeing dollar signs, Flackpfizer gives his pitch at how he'll make the ballet the best thing since the pizza scissor. It's seriously a thing. How cool is that? Laszlo points out that he can snag the Great Volare for the Oglethorpe Ballet.
Now leave this matter to me, and I will sign for you the world's premier dancer, the Great Volare.
Volare!
Volare being the best thing since the umbrella with a cup holder. I'm not kidding! This exists too, I want one. So Flackpfizer says he can get Volare too, and pretty much can do anything better than Laszlo. Now Lillian, the rich upper-class snooty fool, believes Flackpfizer, and he gets the job to head up the new Oglethorpe Ballet Company.
By all means, make my husband's dream come true.
Okay, I give up. How come he doesn't throw up?
Now, Flackpfizer has a problem. He needs to land the Great Volare, but Volare is another one of those arrogant D-bags who thinks he's better than everyone else. He hits on basically every ballerina, but has a particular fascination for a dancer named Lisa. Lisa, however, is dating a starving artist dancer named Alan, basically the role that Zeppo would have played.
It's a fine idea to keep busy until one is good enough to command a salary. My cue.
See what I mean? D-bag. Jacques and Rocco go backstage to try and meet with Volare, but end up meeting with Lisa and Alan.
Excuse me, but we didn't get your name.
Oh, yes, my name's Rocco Melanchek. I'm the Valley World's up-and-coming manager/agent. I'm here to sign a contract with the Great Volare.
You don't need Volare. What you need is the next great ballet talent, a young, fresh face.
Alan Grant.
Exactly.
I got it right.
It turns out that poor Alan is down and out. He's down to his last nickel, and he's about to head home to Minneapolis since he can't land a dancing job. Upon hearing his plight, Rocco decides to take matters into his own hand.
Don't you buy that plane ticket just yet, because I am going to get you an audition with Roland T. Flackpfizer, ballet director.
So now Rocco is Alan's manager, a man with basically no dancing future. With the show over, the Great Volare goes back to his dressing room to once again try and sleep with one of his co-stars. Of course, Flackpfizer, always thinking ahead, knows exactly when to make his entrance to land the Great Volare.
Who are you? Roland T. Flackpfizer, managing director of the Oglethorpe Flackpfizer Ballet Company. You wouldn't happen to have a plunger on you, would you?
What are you doing here?
To sign you for my ballet company.
I know nothing of your ballet.
Then we have a lot in common. I'm the managing director, and I don't either. Look.
Things don't go well with Volare, and now Flackpfizer has a huge problem. If there's no Volare, there's no big bucks cushy job, and it's back to more ambulance chasing. Luckily, he already hired the world's best con artist cabbie.
You wouldn't happen to have a world-famous dancer stuffed in a drawer somewhere, would you?
His name's Alan Grant. He can dance rings round Volare.
Rocco pitches Alan to Flackpfizer, and even though he's hesitant, Flackpfizer decides that if Rocco and Jacques can sneak Alan into Mrs. Oglethorpe's upcoming gala, maybe she'll be convinced to hire him for the ballet. Of course, to make it all legal, some contracts need to be drawn up first.
Jacques, draw up the standard contract, would you please? We've got years to go before we even come close to the Japanese.
Jacques and Rocco are able to sneak Lisa and Alan into the gala. The two are preparing for their impromptu performance when Laszlo shows up with that great no-talent ass clown and announces that he has landed the great Volare. That puts Laszlo in charge and Flackpfizer out of luck. That's until Alan and Lisa start their performance, trying to grab Mrs. Oglethorpe's attention. The performance is a bit unconventional, and maybe not the best way to try to snag a role in the ballet. But after the performance is done, it does give Volare a great idea.
I would like to make an announcement.
He's being deported.
I have found my prima ballerina, the lovely Miss Lisa LeBaron.
What?
Everyone gets ticked off that Volare picks Lisa to be his premier ballerina, everyone but Alan, knowing it would be amazing for Lisa's career. Now with Laszlo bringing in Volare and Flackpfizer bringing Lisa to the table, the two now find themselves working together to bring Miss Oglethorpe's ballet to life.
Flackpfizer, this is preposterous! Why don't we step outside and settle this like men?
We are outside.
Now why don't we step inside and settle this like women?
The ballet moves to New York City, where Flackpfizer does everything he can to collect a salary without doing any actual work, but still keeping himself in the spotlight.
Well, the whole story is right here in my autobiography, Flackpfizer, a man's man. But I like women a lot more. Act now and you can get one of these fabulous Flackpfizer is ballet t-shirts.
Lisa ends up reuniting with Alan in Volare's dressing room, but Volare walks in, sees Lisa by herself, and takes it that Lisa finally wants to get it on with him. That doesn't turn out for good old Volare, and in turn, it doesn't turn out good for Lisa.
What are you doing here?
Mr. Flackpfizer flew me out.
You and Mr. Flackpfizer are going to be sorry for this.
Laszlo has his suspicions that Flackpfizer's a scam artist, because, well, he is a scam artist, and Laszlo is able to get Flackpfizer, Jacques, and Rocco fired, and then thrown in jail. Alan and the newly dismissed Lisa bail them out. And at this point, there's really only one thing to do. Go to the ballet's opening night, wreak havoc, and somehow get Alan and Lisa on stage. And of course, this is where the fun begins.
Good evening, ballet fans. We've got a good one. Another big league ballet battle starring that plucky Roberta Bulldog Volare.
Of course, now with Volare taken out, Lisa and Alan get to take the stage. They somehow know exactly what they are doing, and they are a big hit with the theater crowd. Our heroes somehow saved the day, and the audience, meaning us, witnessed comedy gold. And that is the greatest comedy you've never seen, Brain Donors. Originally called Lame Ducks, that was a play on the Marx Brothers classic Duck Soup. Paramount execs got mad when the Zucker brothers decided to leave the studio. They changed the name to Brain Donors, gutted the film, and barely released it in the theaters. It became a cult classic, though I'm surprised about how many people don't actually know about the film. The irony is, the Marx Brothers made 5 pictures with Paramount before they went their separate ways. They then moved over to MGM Studios. Their first big hit there? A Night at the Opera. Brain Donors starred Emmy winner and Transformers Revenge of the Fallen star John Turturro, Emmy Award-winning comedian Bob Nelson, non-Emmy Award-winning but still funny actor and director of the box office hit Radioland Murders, Mel Smith, Juliana Davis, who totally also starred in great 80s movies like Dragnet and Muppets Take Manhattan, Emmy winner and Lou Grant star Nancy Marchand, who was cast in The Sopranos based on her Brain Donors performance alone, and Eddie Griffin? Hey, I guess the dude had to start somewhere. Thanks for watching. It really helps if you like, subscribe, and comment below, so please do so, especially if you dug the video and want more of them. We will be back with another comedy classic, but until then, this is Ryan for 2G1, and we'll catch you next movie.
Like a ghost, gotta keep eyes on you. You'll Sneak up behind me, touch me and I'm through. Unless I'm feeling big, just get a little bit belittled. It's hard to resist the physical thrill of jumping on top of you for the kill. Seduction when